Was it frustrating not to have a game last week? Would you prefer to gone straight into the game after the disappointments of where the Pats game ended?
Yeah, definitely. I think every team kind of relies on a bit of momentum. I know we conceded late, but it probably felt like we obviously have felt like we deserved to win. Especially in that second half, we wanted to carry that into the next week, but obviously the Toulon tournament has taken preference to the League of Ireland. But that's understandable. And in a way, it's probably good to get a full week's training just with no game, just to implement Cott's ideas and stuff like that. Since he's came in, we've kind of had games Monday, Friday, and it's been just kind of recovery sessions rather than hard, tough sessions. So we had a good week last week, and hopefully we'll take his ideas into the game against Sligo.
Yeah, I was going to say that because you probably haven't had a lot of time with John on the training pitch, but you have over the last 2 weeks. How have you found him as the manager now, and how has it been since?
Yeah, listen, very good. There's parts of last week that kind of felt like pre-season all over again, kind of where we need to get that extra bit fitter. And I think everyone would agree we need to hold out in those last 10 minutes. Just twice against Pats we've kind of conceded late, which should have been 6 points. We've kind of only taken away 2, which was frustrating. So we've been working on fitness in that aspect. And as you said, his ideas on the pitch footballing was obviously can't give too much away, but we're hoping to see some form of an improvement against Sligo.
And how would you describe your own season so far?
Good and bad, I would say, in a way that I felt like I started well, and then obviously I got my injury, and then the team was doing poorly at the time as well, and it's tough to come into a team again. So I'm kind of hoping after the break we can just get a run of games, get a good full 90 minutes and just get my first goal. I think I've kind of been long overdue at this stage, but it's just felt a bit stop-start. After the first round of fixture went relatively well personally, and then the second round it was just stop-start between the injuries and getting back, and now not having a game last week as well, and now we're going into a break, so we've one game, another week off. So it's frustrating in that sense, because as a player, as I said earlier on, a lot of players rely on momentum. If you're doing well, you want to keep going well, and then if you've one bad blip, grand, get on with it, you have another game, then you should have another game the following week, and that just hasn't been the case in recent weeks. So it's something to note, I suppose, in the second half of the season that I can push on a lot personally and hopefully bag a few goals.
When you come back after an injury, Dáire, is it almost the case that you can be too anxious to do well again?
Yeah, it's strange, you'd be in the stand watching games and you'd be frustrated, I wish I could be out there, I do this, I would do that. And once you're on the pitch, when you come back, you kind of get maybe a rush of blood that you've all these ideas built up in your head, and then it can get frustrating if they don't kind of come off. And if you ask anyone when they're injured, when they're out, it's tough. You are in your own, you're doing extra runs after the pitch, after the session, or you can't fully partake in the session, which was the case with me because of my shoulder. I was doing non-contact stuff. So listen, there's no excuse. Everyone gets injured. Griff got the same injury as I did there last week. And we've had different lads out. It's just when you come back in, as I said, you do want momentum. You do want 2 to 3 games in a row to kind of build up that confidence. So as I said, once we come back, hopefully I'll just push on from there like that.
And the injury came when you were going well in the team, were going well in the 2-0 win over Bows.
Yeah.
Is it hard to avoid self-pity when that happens and just focus on the rehab?
Yeah, you kind of get down at, obviously as soon as you get injured, your first reaction is you're kind of down in the dumps, and then you go in, you analyse it, and you set a target. I think every player that gets injured has to have a target, whether that's in the gym and on the pitch or combine them both. So my target was to get back within 4 to 6 weeks, and I did that from a personal point of view. But as you said there, it is frustrating when the team wasn't doing well at the same time. We slowly picked it back up, and then so it's just been stop start. We haven't just. We once we win 2 games in a row, I think we'll really push on, and confidence. It's kind of just been frustrating in that sense, and I think everyone would agree like that.
And how have you found being down here in general?
Yeah, listen, I love the environment down here. Obviously, as I said before, it's a step up to professional environment. But Cork itself, I've a family here. I don't feel like I'm here on my own. Basically, it's I've moved down here, and I've friends, family, everything like that to support me in that sense. So from that point of view, I'm loving it. Yeah.
And are you living with other players?
Yeah, I'm in with James Tilly at the moment.
Okay, what's he like as a housemate?
Yeah, just got plenty of PlayStation sharing, cooking and stuff like that. So we're watching a bit of Love Island now at the moment in the evenings. To pass time, we're stooping to that. But
and you each other's type as housemates?
Pardon? Not quite.
Judging by your performances so far this year, there, you lost a lot of leads, unlucky to drop points here and there. So do you feel in that regard like 8th in the table is a false position for Cork City?
Yeah, absolutely. I think somebody pointed out during the week that even though we're 8th, we're closer to 3rd than we are 9th. As I said, like we have conceded just too many late goals. Like we were 1-0 up against Harps, we were 1-0 up against UCD away, Pats twice. Suddenly that's 4 games where you should have 12 points. And instead we ended up losing to UCD. We drew twice against Pats and we drew against Harps. So it's just that extra bit of resilience, and maybe, it's probably resilience is the right word, just seeing out wins, knowing when to graft out a win and be smart and cute on the pitch. And we just haven't. A lot of it's luck as well, I suppose. Like 4 minutes added on, they scored in the 5th or 6th minute against Pats. Like, you have to question little things like that, and you can't blame anyone as such. It's just the way football is. So like that's arguably 12 points that we should have that we don't. If you add that 12 points to what we have now, I don't know where that puts us, but I'm sure it's a lot closer to 3rd and 4th than it is 8th. So we can't be too negative about it seeing the league position. I think it is a bit false. And come the end of the season, I think every team from 3rd all the way down to 8th will feel like they're in with a shout of finishing top 3.
Do you think like some of the key things, so getting a kind of a settled side? I know you've been unlucky with injuries, yourself included, but getting a settled side, a consistent side, and taking your chances will get you up the table?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every successful team kind of has a setback for. Obviously, it's going to be mild rotation in attack. Like the front 3 probably shouldn't start every game in a row. Depends on who's on form and training, who's scoring goals. Obviously, with us, we haven't been banging them in religiously up top. So it does take a time to gel like that. If you're an attacker, you want to be on the same wavelength as players, and I think we are getting there now. Especially the last week, we worked on a lot of combinations and different finishing drills and stuff like that. So I'm as confident going into the game of Sligo as I have been in any other game. So hopefully, if it's not me, if it's someone else to score a goal, we'll happily take it.
Is there a good feel among the group, like especially after your second half performance against Pats?
Yeah, I think playing the second half was especially the spell in the first 20-25 minutes against Pats. We did really well, and then obviously they pushed on and we kind of dropped off, which is natural. But some of the play we did there was the best we have done in a long time. So it was frustrating that we weren't able to just build on that and have a game 4 or 5 days later. But as I said, from a collective point of view, we've been in together now every day nearly every day for the last 10 days, between gym and training sessions. So the bond and the gel between a team, in a way, is probably at its highest that it's been so far, and hopefully that will pay dividends.
Obviously, key to win on Friday, leapfrog.
Yeah, massively. Absolutely. Well, whether there was a break or no break, but it's nice just if you could go away for the break knowing that you've had a good win. I think a lot of holidays will be ruined if we don't come away with 3 points. And it's a game we should win. We beat them away at home. We beat them away last time there. Girl must have scored 2 crackers, so if you could do that again, we'd happily take that. And I think that we drew with them at home where we didn't take our chances against. So the team we're capable of beating, team we probably won't take for granted. But if we're all on our game, if we all get 7 or 8 out of 10s, we should beat them. I'd imagine. I'd hope.
Dáire, you're saying you hopefully get your first goal.
Yeah.
Before you came to Cork, what was your best talents you did? The UCD and stuff.
I got 8 last season. I think in all competitions with UCD. Year ago 6. I think it was actually 2, 6 and 8 in my 3 years at UCD. So you could probably say that's not prolific tallies, but I hit 14 assists last year at UCD. So I was playing more centrals than number 10, more deeper in midfield. So part of that is probably adapting to being on the wing, knowing when to get into goal scoring positions. Now listen, if our other 2 attackers were on 10 to 12 goals and I was on 0, I'd probably be a lot more concerned. It's probably a collective thing that we all need to work that extra bit harder, gel a bit closer. I think nobody's running away. I think our top goal is our centre half, which needs to change in the second half of the season. And hopefully, if it's me or if it's Shep or somebody else that can pull away with a few goals, we'll be delighted.